When I sit down and talk to graphic designers who are either freelancers or full-time agency business owners, I hear a lot of the same problems. And so I want to talk through some of those problems and also give a few solutions on how to overcome the challenges of managing graphic design clients. And today I have 4 things that I'm going to talk about, so you want to stick around for each one of those. Also, I want to give away a managing your design clients checklist. So at any time you can head down in the description below and grab that checklist and make sure you're hitting all these key points. And if you're not, what are the solutions that you need to implement in order to create a better client management process? All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is over communication. This is huge. I find that you can really hone down immediately in the first client meeting if you're going to have a good client or a bad client. What are some social cues? What are some verbal cues that they're communicating to you that you could easily overlook in the excitement of a new client? Are they saying things like, yeah, had to fire the old guy because he just wasn't getting my vision? Well, ask them, well, what is your vision? What are you looking to accomplish? How were you not heard by that previous agency? Listen to their answers. Really think through, is this going to be a good fit for my agency? Is this going to be a good fit for my process? Because a lot of times, if we do recognize problem areas, we can address them right off the bat and really put ourselves in a position of power, so to speak, in the client-designer relationship. And that is key in order to having a good management of all of your clients. If you allow the client in the driver's seat, you're gonna have to pay for it throughout the entire process. So you wanna take charge, and you do that by over-communicating, by listening, and by asking pointed questions. Another thing that's really, really important to over-communicate is your process from the beginning. Tell them how you send them drafts, how you send them the contract, how you send them emails and communications, and the importance of them being responsive in order to keep the project on schedule. And in order to capture their vision best, they need to communicate with you. They need to follow the process in order to make sure the goals of the project are hit. Without them following your process, you need to lay out the consequences. Will the project be late? Will it not be what they expected? And will the finished product not be their desired result? Those things will all hinge upon their involvement in the workflow process. And you have to emphasize that right off the bat. If you don't, again, you're putting them in the driver's seat, and that's a dangerous place for them to be in and for you to have them. The second thing that I think is super important in managing design clients is getting the contract signed. Now, do you even have a contract? That's the first thing. If you don't have a contract, I'd recommend tools like Bonsai, PandaDoc, or DocuSign. These tools are really effective in making sure that everything that's expected within the project is listed out, not only for the client, but for you. Say the client comes to you and say, hey, I want to make sure that we address this. I want to make sure this gets done. Well, if that wasn't in the contract, then you can reference back to the contract and say, well, that wasn't there, but that's something we can talk about and possibly add in. Would you be interested in that? And this is also an area where you can keep yourself from getting overworked and underpaid, because you can say, well, this is what was in the contract. Now let's revisit that and talk about it and see what opportunity we have to add that in. Then you can start to upsell. If you don't have a contract and they say, well, shouldn't you include that anyway? And you can say, well, I guess I could. And so that's where having a contract allows the client, the reference, to understand what is to be expected of in the entire process and the final result. It allows you to have something to stand upon to say, hey, no, this was not in the contract, we can't do that, but we can add that in, we can discuss it, we can possibly add that to the contract. So it's a win-win for you because it keeps them informed and it gives you some negotiation power. So either you need to implement a contract process if you don't have one, or you need to get it signed right off the bat if you do. The third thing I find is the lack of clear communication and effective communicative tools. The one thing I noticed in the agency I work for, I'm a digital marketing manager, so I handle a mass amount of the client communication, is the fact that we're always trying to find out if the client has read our emails, if they filled out the correct sheet, if they're going to respond, if they did respond, like where are we at with the email process? Where are we at the communication? You gotta remember, people are really busy. You're not the only thing that they're worried about in their day. You are the designer and you're an important aspect of their business, but you're not the only priority. So the biggest reason that I find you have lack of clarity is because you don't know what they're doing on the other end of the line. I have seen that this can be solved by an autoresponder system. Whether that would be ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, or Drip, to name a few, you can find out where the process is at just by clicking in to your autoresponder dashboard. This is really cool because I can see if somebody has opened my email, if they've clicked through the link, and then I can also go to that link I sent them and see if they filled out that document. So when I do email them back, I'm informed with the data saying, hey, I see you haven't opened that email yet. please do so. Click through that link and then fill out that form, and then we'll keep the process moving. If we don't, we're risking falling behind on the timeline, and we want to make sure we can deliver this to you on time. Thank you so much. And so that allows you to really know where your client's at, be informed, rather than saying, hey, what's going on the other end of the line? We're waiting on you. You can come to them and say, hey, I see you haven't done this. I'm sure you're busy, but please take these steps so we can keep moving forward with your project. This makes you look far more intelligent and far more informed. So as we're going through this video, if you're thinking, man, this is really great, but I really wouldn't know where to start, and I don't know how to implement these things. Well, the first thing you want to do is head down, grab that checklist, and kind of see where you're ranking with your project management and client workflow. The second thing I want you to know is that I'll be coming out with a course in the coming months that will take you through the entire client workflow process, from getting the contract signed to sending automated emails to the project management system and the entire client workflow, to make sure you're doing that with maximum efficiency so you can be the graphic designer and streamline the project management side of things through this system. So the way that I recommend staying most informed on this is heading down in the description below and jumping into the Facebook group, the Design Brief. This is where we'll have all the communications, all the updates, and get you ready to take on this course in the coming months. The fourth thing I want to talk about is that project management system. So a lot of times I find that people get lost in the project management because they just don't know where all the pieces of the puzzle are at. Especially if you're starting to hire out other freelance designers, how do you keep them informed? How do you let them know that they're up to work on a design, or they need to fix this, or this revision needs to happen, or this actually needs to be sent to the client, or the client needs to be reached out to because they still haven't sent us the corrections. So all these things need to be held in a project management system. And I've built that out for graphic design specifically, so that way you can manage your design projects to a T. So that's going to be another big thing, is do you have a good project management system? And if you don't, I definitely want to help you out in that area, because the goal of your business is to onboard clients quickly and efficiently. If you don't have an efficient system, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to scale. And the last point reiterates the first point, and that is over communicate. I find that a lot of times graphic designers get frustrated with their clients, but what I see is it's not the fact that the client is completely in the wrong or whatever people rant on and on about. It's the fact that you haven't taken the time to communicate clearly, concisely, and reiterate over and over again your process and what you expect out of your client. If you are not somebody who's communicating with them and just leaving them in the dark, it's no wonder they're coming to you with problems, concerns, and design changes that don't make sense to you, because you haven't informed them on the process and on your specific goals for their project. You want to learn what they're looking to accomplish from the beginning so that your goals become their goals. If your goals aren't aligned, you're gonna have tension and you're gonna have a bad client relationship. So over communicate, and over communicate. All right, well, I really hope this video has given you some insight, has given you some help. Again, you want to head down below, join the Facebook group, grab a link to the checklist, and I just want to get you guys to the maximum project management level that I know you can be at as graphic designers, either already running a graphic design agency or just getting started as a freelancer. These tools will be extremely helpful to you. I'm Benji Kaiser of BenjiKaiser.com, and I will see you here on the next episode.